Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Emmanuel Amakofibua, told Parliament that the original lease was negotiated when global lithium prices were around 3,000 per ton, but they have since dropped to $630 per ton, putting the project's economic viability under threat. This is what we have heard. In response, three key elements of the deal, he said, have been revised: the royalty rate, the VAT deferral on capital inputs, and the feasibility of using the Sulpon transshipment facility. Cabinet has approved the amendments, and as we speak, the bill is now laid before Parliament, awaiting ratification so that the project can go on. In this, the agreement gives the government of Ghana only 13%, 13% of free carried interest in the project. And there is room for the Mineral Income Investment Fund to increase its participation over time. The deal also sets aside 1% of revenue for community development, with local stakeholders having a stake in how those funds are invested. The company of interest is Atlantic Lithium through its subsidiary in Ghana, Barari DV Ghana Limited. It's on a 15-year lease. Before we get into the details of percentage figures and the shareholding and everything, I would like to start off by engaging with some philosophical issues, which is this: who is the owner of Ghana's natural resources? Because it's about that. And lithium is one of the natural resources that we find in the ground in this space of a country called Ghana. Who is the owner? Well, we are not left to guess at all. Under the Ghana 1992 Constitution, all mineral resources in their natural state are the property of the Republic of Ghana and are vested in the president on behalf of, importantly, and in trust for the people of Ghana. This principle is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution and reinforced by the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703. Therefore, mineral resources belong to the Ghanaian people. By that I mean all the 34 million Ghanaians. We are collective owners, joint owners of all the resources under the ground, including the lithium. Our expectation would therefore be that any contract or deal involving minerals should reflect the ownership structure enshrined in our 1992 Constitution. In other words, all benefits and gains should reach every Ghanaian, no matter which part of the country they're living in, no matter their profession, no matter their walk of life. They should be beneficiaries of any gains from any contracts or deals that are awarded for mineral extraction in this country. Who left 12 million Ghana cedis worth of estate when he passed away. His will was that this should be shared equally among his 12 children. Now, the 12 children tried to sell the estate and share the money. They were not making much progress. So they asked his third born and said to him, he was business-like among them. Can you go and, organize this, get a sale so we can share the money, as our dad has prescribed in his will? The third born went out. After 6 months, he came back with a report. Successive governments, they are like our brothers, to whom we have entrusted our natural resources to manage on our behalf for our common benefit, have consistently given away our natural resources to foreign companies. This is like the agent who was coming to sell the thing. So-called foreign investors who continue to give a mere pittance, almost like money to buy groundnuts. That's what we get out of it. Back to governments to pass on to us. Now, very little does not go very far. So we remain poor. The majority of people in this country remain poor because the resources from our the money from our natural resources is not getting to everybody. In fact, it's actually getting to very, very few people who seem to be satisfied with this status quo. So we remain poor and needy while the agents, so-called foreign investors make billions out of our ground and take it all away year after year. Now, very sad the moment, a day of shame for us to be talking about 13% gain for Ghana and 87% of top goes to the foreigners. However, this is the story of our gold, the story of our oil, the story of our bauxite, the story of our diamonds have all followed this pattern. The story of our manganese have all followed this pattern. Now, let me just try and make this more relevant. The huge amounts of money that are taken away from Ghana annually by the foreign companies, these are monies for our good roads that are not being built. Money that we should have used to build our roads, they are being taken away. Money that we should have used for our good, to build good health facilities, are being taken away. The money for investments in agriculture, in industry, to create jobs for millions of Ghanaians, young people, millions of them. This money is what is being taken away. Modern infrastructure, I mentioned about roads. That most of the money that we would have made from this natural resource to use to build roads, we can't get it. It's being taken away. Somebody is negotiated for them to be taken away. Now, so that's one big thing. The next thing I want to say about this way of handling our natural resources is that it undermines our sovereignty. A sovereign country should be able to stand up and use what they have for the development of their own country. A sovereign state is one who is in charge. Country is really in charge of its own space that they rule over. But sovereign state like Ghana suddenly meets one or two people who have come in from Australia. They are not state envoys. They're just a company. And when we meet to discuss about business, to talk about natural resources, this sovereign country bows completely to these people, unknown people from Australia, from somewhere else. We bow completely to them and cede every sovereign rule of our resources. We cede it to them. So where is our sovereignty? Where is our respect? Where is our dignity? We give everything away, and then we turn around and go and beg the same people for loans to run our country now. In a moment, I'll tell you the amount of money that we have lost through these spurious agreements over a 10-year period. In the midst of all that, we go around begging the same people to bring us some funds, and they loan it to us at high interest, and they give us conditionalities. So where is it? Where is our sovereignty? We don't have any right now because we are submitted to some kind of money people. Now, this is appalling. This must stop. Let me just show you. It's a summary from 2014 to 2024. I just took a 10-year period. And this is what I want to see. I wish I could project this, but I'll read it out. Within this 10-year period, Ghana earned a total revenue of 70 billion US dollars. Total revenue. However, government earnings from this total, when I say Ghana earnings, in other words, we produced and sold $70 billion worth of gold. However, the part of this money that came to Ghana government during this 10-year period was only 8 billion. 8 billion. And the foreign company earnings were 62 billion. And so the government of Ghana proportion was only 12%. So there's a lot of money being raised in Ghana for gold alone, 70 billion, and we get only 8 billion. And we still in this country clapping for ourselves. What about oil? During the same 10-year period, the total revenue for oil is put approximately at 21 billion US dollars. 21 billion. However, government earnings came to only 3.2 billion. And the foreign company earnings were therefore 17.8 billion. Ghana was getting something like 15% of it. Now, when I hear figures like this, I don't know about you, but I lose sleep over it. So, no, it can't be. But it is repeated in all the other resources. In diamonds, the same total revenue from the 2014-2024 period was 250 million US dollars. Government earnings were only 25 million, which is what comes to Ghana. The rest is taken abroad. Then the foreign company earnings were 225 million, only 10%. And bauxite. And in my mind, Progressive Alliance for Ghana is seeking to bring a government that will handle these things properly. We will reverse the ownership structures. And if we reverse the ownership structures, this is what it will look like. If we simply reverse the ownership structures, we flip it. So the foreign companies get the 13%, the 10%, and the 9%, which is completely in place. And Ghana gets the 62%, 80%, 90%. This is what it will look like. With gold, out of our 70 billion worth of gold sold and exported, 62 billion will come into government coffers. That will make Ghana a completely rich country in an instant. For the oil, we will now have 17.8 billion to add to the gold resources. The diamonds will now have 225 million dollars to add to it. And the bauxite will now have 815 million. And the foreign companies will get the small bits that we were getting at first. Now, as a sovereign state, we have every right to play as we want, to use our resources as we want. And we will change this. This will be a huge game changer, suddenly putting lots of resources in the hand of the government. Now they can build schools. That's if they are going to be doing very well, corruption-free. We can build schools. We can build hospitals. We can build our roads. There'll be no road that remains untarred in Accra, and certainly intercity roads. There'll be dual carriageways linking all the regional capitals. This can be done from here. This resource is these are billions of dollars. This can happen if we wisely take hold of the resources of this nation. Coming up to Ghanaians to say there is a different way of operating. We will never have to go and borrow money from anyone again. In fact, we will be loaning money to people, to other nations. Because God has blessed Ghana with so much resources. This is only part of it. There's also iron ore yet to be touched. Huge deposits in the north, in the western region. So all these things require a change in the natural resource ownership. That it is time to stop these spurious agreements which place the nation at a serious disadvantage. It's time to change it so Ghana will be at the pole position in all these arrangements from now on. We should stop mortgaging our assets given to us by God. We should stop mortgaging them for foreigners for whatever reason. And begin to steward them carefully for the well-being and benefit of all the 34 million Ghanaians in this country. It can be done. And this is what PAG, the Progressive Alliance for Ghana, is seeking to do. But we can't wait till we get into power. We have to raise the shout now, because these resources are finite and the wrong things are being done. We're raising a shout, so maybe somebody will listen and begin to make these changes. Absolutely important. So because of this, we want to declare for our natural resources based on a new understanding of the true ownership of the resources of the land. So PAG's vision for natural resources ownership for Ghana. First, Ghanaians must become the owners of the riches and wealth from our minerals under the ground. It's ours. If somebody is from Australia wants mineral resources, he should go to Australia. There are minerals under their ground as well. Go and take that one. But this one is for us. It's for Ghanaians. And we must make sure that we don't give it out as we've done every other thing. So our vision will be the real owners of the riches and wealth from our nation. To achieve this, we need development of Ghanaian expertise in all aspects of mining, entrepreneurship, management, engineering, technical, financial infrastructure, administration, all that is needed to create a mine. Now, unfortunately for most of us, the education we received in Ghana took us away from the land. We are all in Accra trying to get jobs, where the real job lies under the ground. The real work of mining lies under the ground. We are all in Accra fighting over 2,000 cedis a month, when honestly, billions and billions lie waiting under the ground. But we will reverse that. We will open the eyes of our nation to the land. And there will be people trained and raised up in all these different expertise needed to start mines, manage them for the benefit of Ghanaians. If any expertise is lacking, number three, we can shop around for this and hire the right staff and pay them wages or salaries accordingly, but not to give them 80% of your mine. No, we'll hire them. They'll come there. They'll be our employees, and we'll pay them a salary. They work for us, and we pay them. We look after them well. That's what it should be like. And so, this whole part of the vision of developing the expertise. And if we can't get it, we hire. And then equipment. If we can't, some of the equipment, we should begin to make this equipment, ground digging equipment ourselves. We've got scientists, we've got engineers. We should begin to knock these iron metal things together to produce all these bulldozers that we need for mining, and even the processes that are required. If equipment is lacking, we vehicle comprising government and private sector entities in which shareholdings are apportioned according to the value of resources being brought to the project table. So that if 10 billion of investments is required to mine 90 billion worth of a resource, say lithium, that 90 billion resource owned by the government should reflect in government having 90% of the joint venture. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. We've got the whole thing. The whole thing is about our resource. And 90% of that, so we should have 90% of it. And then 10% should go to whoever brings any money or other things to help us with it. That's also possible. But in principle, we should move away from people coming to own our things and then give us royalties. Royalties? Why? That must stop. So what should we do with the lithium agreement? I got a simple answer. Take it off the table. Throw it out. It's not fit for purpose in 2025 Ghana. If people don't realize it, they should hear it from me. This kind of agreement is no longer acceptable in Ghana of 2025. Too many people know too many things about these agreements now. Now Ghanaians are crying out, we want to be owners of what God has placed under the soil, under our feet. And so we should throw it out. We should take it off the table. Then we take our time. If you want to negotiate, you change the ownership structure. We are tired of the constant over-exploitation of our resources by foreigners with the collusion of all our successive governments of the Fourth Republic, which still leaves our country in poverty. NPP wanted us to have 15% and Barari 85%. NDC comes and says, I've got a better plan. Barari should have 87% and Ghana should have 13%. Both are unacceptable today in our nation. A starting point should be Ghana 85% and Barari 15%. Then we can start talking. Then there should be processing and value addition. We must stop exporting raw ore, but rather take our time and develop processing methods. So the end product of lithium is batteries, lithium-ion batteries, which have become very important components in electric vehicles. The whole electric vehicle revolution is based on this. We must make sure that we set up processing plants, take the ore, process them. Eventually, we produce the batteries here. Now, if you think about that value chain, that's like thousands of people employed in gainful employment. In fact, they'll make so much money because they are doing something proper. Most of the time, we can't pay people enough money because they're not really doing very much. But when you are producing batteries that's going to go into cars, wow, the sky is the limit for the salaries that can come out there. And so we can do that. And then, of course, it opens the way for us to move into electric vehicle production in this country. We've got the base now. And we've got many intelligent Ghanaians, many sharp-witted Ghanaians who are just waiting to be empowered to do these things. So we must process and never send things out raw anymore. It's not acceptable to our foreign investors. Well, we should take our time, as I said, develop expertise to get the lithium out of the ground. In the meantime, let's leave the lithium in the ground. Let's leave it in the ground while we wait for a better arrangement. There's no rush. Lithium is not like bananas that's going to spoil after 7 days. It's not like yams. When you leave in the ground, it's going to decay. No, no, no. It has been there for thousands of years and will remain good in the next 1,000 years. So let's leave it in the ground. If we are not able to develop the expertise to mine it, let's leave it for the next generation who maybe will work harder and think smarter and create the processes that will allow them to take it out, process it, and create a lot of wealth out of it. Let's not shortchange this generation, and let's not shortchange the future generation as well by just selling it off right now. It is mine taken away, and nothing is given to these people of this country. So, conference by the Institute of Economic Affairs, which raised these same issues I'm raising here. They have lots of data, more than I've expressed, on what has happened to our resources over the years. You will weep when you hear about some of them. When we try that, just ignore you. We were taken by surprise that the bill was now before Parliament, so we just heard it. So the first reaction was, please, let's raise a shout before this is signed. So we quickly put this together, this press conference. Hopefully you will carry the message across this country for us. We would hope that a door will be open for us to meet the policymakers and share our insights. Because sometimes you are used to one way of operating, you can't even see that there's any other way. What we are bringing is brand new. And we hope that they will open the doors. We would definitely like to meet them. and talk to them about what is going on. Have a real discussion, like I hope we can have here as well. Thank you very much.